This episode of The Republic is brought to you by Netflix. For a free 30-day trial, head on over to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV.
GameBreaker TV.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to The Republic. I'm Gary again, and this is GameBreaker TV. This is the episode 131 for April 1st, 2013. Coming up today, we've got patch notes. BioWare apparently expected it to take 3 or 4 months for people to get through all the launch content, but apparently the game is fully recovered. So all that and more, but first, joining me as always, our SWTOR experts. First up from massively.com. And right here on GameBreaker TV, it's Elizabeth Claire. How are you?
Doing well. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. Good to be back. I missed everybody, so we're back in the swing of things. Good. And writer extraordinaire right here on GameBreaker.tv, Richie Procopio. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well, Mr. Gannon. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. You guys know about lightsabers, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All about them.
It's a legendary weapon, right?
Yeah, they've got that glow particle effect. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Cool. All right, well, let's dive right into the notes. So we've got patch notes. So this might be a shock to you guys, but apparently the technology is here. SWTOR finally, yes, has ready check. Does Guild Wars 2 have ready check?
Guild Wars 1 had ready check, not till several years into it, but you know, we've had it for a while.
It's
a great feature for dungeons.
It is. We actually have it. I think Guild Wars 2 has it for PvP. You can say for hot join nerd tournament mode, you can be, I'm ready or I'm not ready.
Yeah, the Fractals has the ready before you go
continue.
In. Yeah. That's not like you can't just do it in the middle of the dungeon, but you know when you start with the Fractal, everyone has to say, yes, I'm ready. So,
move on so that nobody loses their loot.
There's also a new armor set in the gem store. Or is the cartel market? I always forget. I get them confused. But fancy dress up like Boba Fett. It's pretty sweet.
Like who?
Boba Fett. My backpack has
Shouldn't
jets.
that come with a helmet piece? Yeah.
That might be separate. I don't know.
Jets. Are those jets extra? Because I would love that to get around the world better. Fly right up to the dragon's face.
My backpack is jets. No. Personal starship character unlocked have been enabled once again. You guys have been waiting for that, haven't you?
Oh yeah, it's been a crucial feature to the game. I'm really surprised that that's been, a problem for as long as it has. So good to see that in there.
Yeah, that's like an airship, right?
Kind of.
I like that. I like airships.
It's kind of like an airship. The rhythm augmentation droid has been modified to provide entertainment only to those within visual range. I don't know why, but that sounds kind of dirty.
A little bit.
Yeah.
The rhythm augmentation droid. Wow, that's an interesting piece of technology right there.
Lacquerous. Mesh boots. Lacquerous. Mesh boots apparently now display correctly. What does lacquerous even mean? Can you they taste like licorice?
It sounds like Romulan technology to me. I don't really know. It could be, maybe.
Sounds like you put a lot of it on your boots become flammable.
Ooh, that sounds painful. Dangerous.
Like napalm.
Napalm boots.
Napalm boots.
Speaking
Scott
of boots,
Hawk's on his Guardian boots.
I don't know. Do they have boots that are this awesome in Guild Wars 2? Covert energy boots. You seen these?
So like Hobbit boots.
Those sound like town clothes, because that definitely does not look like what you wear for fighting.
Yeah, those are Hobbit boots.
Richie, you can't check this out. Your events don't look so dynamic now, do they?
I have to admit that's pretty damn awesome.
Yeah.
Toothpick
mounts. You guys even have
no mounts for us now.
No mounts?
I feel like that's something that we need, so I'm feeling pretty bad about myself right now because I play a game that does not have mounts.
That's true. You guys had a mount like that.
Oh, man.
I love this mount. This is like a
collect.
Yes, this is like a collector's item now. I mean, this is like the mount to have in the game. Everybody freaking wants this mount, and absolutely nobody can get it at this point. Everybody wants the effing mount. I love the Star Wars mount. You guys have the Star Wars mount? It's probably going for like 8 gajillion credits now on the, what is it called? Auction house? Probably like 80 gajillion on the auction house. How much is this mount on the auction house?
Somewhere near a gajillion.
Is it a gajillion?
Yeah.
It is a beauty, though. I mean, look at it.
Yeah, I know.
GTN, that's it. GTN.
I don't think anybody's buying that mount anymore. It's awesome, though. You know.
It is a pretty awesome mount. Fucking gag didn't work even when we tried to make it work. All right, let's move on. All right, BioWare.
What are you talking about?
They apparently made the foolish mistake this week of letting Mr. James Ohlen out of his cage again to speak at the old GDC, the Game Developers Conference, up in San Francisco, where I was at. I did not get to see Mr. Ohlen's presentation. I wish I would have. I actually got a text too late about it. I would have actually went. I totally missed it. But it's been kind of a while since James has actually kind of stepped into the onto the stage, hasn't it? We haven't really heard much from James in a while.
No, actually, it was really funny. We were kind of debating on whether or not James was part of the crew anymore because we hadn't heard from him in such a long time. Although I'm glad he's there. I'm glad he's still there. Really, really.
I am glad he's there.
Similar response that we give to Dallas Dickinson, but I tend to see him at movie theaters, like at the Alamo Drafthouse, just randomly here in Austin. So
you just randomly run into him, and he's like, "Hey, you're that jerk on that show."
Yeah,
D-bag keeps brushing his teeth on and stuff. Sorry about last week. I apologize. I was running late. It was a very important meeting, and I couldn't be late. So
gotta do what you gotta do.
Hygiene is important, man.
It's important.
Yeah. By the way, GDC smells much better than PAX. Just saying.
Yes, it does.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
I know that from experience.
It's true. He had a few very interesting things to say here at GDC. First up, he took us all back in time a little bit, and remember the huge cost. We've heard numbers thrown all over. I don't think there was ever like a real cost that was said, but I don't know. I've heard all the way from 250 million all the way up to like 375 million. So I've heard everything in that range. Who knows? But the cost of Star Wars: The Old Republic. But apparently, he said, what did he say on stage? He said that the voice acting actually wasn't a big part of the cost. He said that most of the cost was actually put towards the engine, and that it supported 300 people working on it at the same time.
Yeah, he actually said that the majority of the cost was not. It's not that it wasn't that voice acting didn't cost any money or anything like that. It's that they had already done that part of it. They already knew what that part was like, and that it was already, this was a known entity. And so they knew how much that was going to cost, and so that cost this little bit. The thing that ended up costing the most money was running off an untested engine, and which makes a lot of sense if you remember, because at the time that they started building Tor, they did use Hero Engine. There were some people that were saying that, oh, I guess they didn't use Hero Engine. Well, they did use Hero Engine. However, at the time, Hero Engine was like really early in development. And in fact, it was what you see in Tor now is so far different from what the Hero Engine has that they're not even really close to the same thing.
I don't know if it's fair to say it was so far early in development, but they heavily modified the engine.
Yes.
I mean, I remember seeing the Hero Engine work 7 years ago at GDC. Like, it's been around for quite a while. But
he said untested. That's the words that he used, was untested engine. So,
and he said a big factor apparently was just adding choices and consequences to the MMO story.
By the way, Gary, just as a sidebar here, you remember how awesome the Hero Engine was first, like, shown off like?
Yeah.
Like there were like dynamic events that would happen just randomly, and like the different physics models that they were using at the time for it. It was supposed to be this, gigantic breakthrough into tech, but it doesn't seem like a lot of that stuff actually made it to fruition in the final sort of build for that engine.
I think it probably really is, though, a big giant leap in tech, to be honest. Like, I know it gets a lot of crap, but it's like you're also talking about like a company taking something like that and not developing it from scratch. And they have to kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of a work in progress to some extent to learn how to like, how far can you possibly push this thing? So, but it did. I remember like 7 years ago, we were just like, oh my God, this looks amazing. I don't know, but it sounds like from what he says, he's saying, that the cost skyrocketed. QA development costs made it generally hard to design. I don't know. He also said regarding the development time for SWTOR that it wasn't unusual. And I mean, we've seen in almost all the big AAA games out there, Terra, Guild Wars 2, Test, all having about half-decade cycles, which is kind of true, but I think that's to be expected. I don't know. Where does all the money go? Where's the big money sink? Just in the fact that the engine wasn't tested? I mean, it doesn't seem like it had.
He said one of the key factors that he brought up and was that the engine at the time that they got it could not support a massively multiplayer game. It could support like smaller games with smaller groups of people, but it couldn't support. In fact, I wish I remember the exact quote, and I probably should have quoted it in the article. But he said something to the effect that, even like a year and a half before launch or something along that line, that we couldn't even get more than 10 people in the game at a time because the resources just were so overwhelming.
So I don't want to start the show going, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that. How would you license the hero engine from a company? You go into a demo and they show you and they're like, here are 6 people playing this MMORPG. You give us millions of dollars? Good deal. 10 people? Is that really the number?
It was a really small number, like 10 to 20 people is what he said. That's I wish I had the quote with me, but it was something along that line.
I wish we did. All right, I'm going to pass that up because I don't know. I don't know. That just sounds crazy to me. Like how I don't know. All right. Here's another crazy one. Justin, jump in on this whenever you want. Just, I know you like go to Rudy's and Torchy's and eat with these guys every weekend, but just come on. This blew my mind. So James apparently said that he talked about the Elder game, the end game basically, and apparently they said they knew that it wasn't ready. They knew that it needed more, and their metrics, their fabled metrics here. They were expecting players to actually take 3 to 4 months before they got to end game content. Is anyone else just tired of hearing this excuse from MMO developers?
Yes, I'm
no one buys this. No one buys this anymore. No one buys this anymore because no matter what your metrics say, cut them by like a third.
I'm amazed that this type of excuse still gets used in game development. I mean, come on. I understand if it surprises you personally, sure, but don't talk about that publicly. I mean, this is all. I mean, we've heard the same thing like happen multiple times from multiple game developers, multiple studios. This is not a new thing, and BioWare certainly isn't new to game development. That they wouldn't know how things actually work, especially with all these experienced MMO designers like Rich Vogel and other people that were on staff at the time. So that excuse doesn't hold water at all. I am surprised that they referenced that they're surprised. How about that?
Yeah, that was the one thing in the whole presentation that James gave that I was like, really? You thought it was going to take that long? Who are you kidding? I don't think anybody at the studio really thought that it was going to take that long. I can understand them believing that it would take longer than an average MMO because of the number of cutscenes, the number of the story and that sort of thing that was involved in the level up process. however, I cannot buy that they thought it would take months to finish.
But I mean, people that they're building that content for, it's like you have to just basically quantify the number of space bars somebody is going to press during the time.
Well,
that's exactly what ends up happening with those people.
Yes, and this seems like the easiest thing to possibly get better metrics on, because they know who their key players are in beta. They know who to talk to. Justin, they were talking to you from day one, and you're a fast player. Not leaving you out of this liar, but he plays way fast, right? I talked to him today. He's on his third play of BioShock Infinite. He's out of his mind. He plays like insanely. So all they got to do is just like say, hey, Justin, you're in Austin. We're in Austin. You want to come down and like play for a couple days just so we could see like how you blaze through this content? And then 3 days later, Justin would be like, where's more raids? And then they'd be like, oh, maybe there's no...
To their credit, they did test the content in game. They were testing with guilds that were, active in the community and were known as being like some of the top rating guilds of other games. So they did bring those people in and were testing them, especially with Eternity Vault, and then more so on the later raids, which is what I was basically talking about before. But the thing that they didn't, or at least I don't seem to really hear a lot of people, especially in the raiding community, talk about is being able to play the game from start to finish, from level 1 to 50, and kind of seeing how long that would actually take. And it was only at end game, given certain characters, and they would go through and pound through the content and see how they would do. It wasn't in a full, broad sense of the entire game. So maybe that did surprise them because they really weren't testing, what the length was on that stuff for those players.
I guess it's possible, but it's like almost when he says this, like players are going to burn through content that fast. I don't think any MMO veteran is surprised when players burn through content as fast as they do. I think we're all just like, no, that's it. And I think bringing up, I don't know if you guys saw this quote, but bringing up somebody else, I think he's totally right. Scott Hartzman was the ex-executive producer of Rift, and he had a very great article in Forbes, and he even said like the model of creating content is like for MMOs, the way that they've been doing it is not sustainable. It's just not. They cannot make content fast enough for players. It's just the whole MMO genre is going to change drastically within the next couple of years. Going to GDC and just seeing what people are doing and what they're not doing. Not to divert this story, but I almost see Tesso as almost one of the last, and Titan obviously are almost the last two super large AAA MMOs. I don't know if anybody's going to want to spend the money because you can't make content fast enough for gamers. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, even one of the most recent games that's coming out or is out today is Defiance, and that game does it really differently on the subscription model and kind of way out there. It's like buy to play stuff, buying DLC almost like a traditional game that you would normally expect, and that seems rather weird from an MMO type, but definitely doing different things on the MMO subscription market to see how that stuff actually works out. And that's coming from Triumph,
but their model also is buy the box and buy to play basically, because they're going after a lot of a console shooter market as well. They're not used to really paying sub fees, so buy the game $60 and you could just keep playing it, which is kind of interesting. All right, so basically the game comes out a month later. They have apparently close to 500,000 people already at endgame. 6 months in, half the amount of people are already at endgame. And then I guess maybe we start seeing people get grumpy and people start leaving. What did he say? Because I missed it. He had some funny things to say about what he said, the dark times of July and August. What was that all about?
He basically said that it wasn't a good time to be at BioWare as far as an employee was concerned, because your friends were leaving, and then subscriptions were still dropping, and Greg and Ray left the company, and so it just kind of it was a rough period for the game, to say the very least.
I remember those times. I remember Mr. Trance and the terrible party during layoffs and everything that was after that and before that, and just those few months were awful.
All right, really well, apparently things are different now. Free-to-play has been apparently a huge success, according to James, for Star Wars: The Old Republic. He even claims now that Star Wars: The Old Republic has the second largest subscriber base in the West. What do you guys think of that? That's huge news if that's totally accurate. I mean, you're talking, that means they have to be, I mean, the only thing I think, World of Warcraft the next one I know, 500,000 is probably EVE Online, right?
Yeah. So that means that if he is correct, then they have more than 500,000, which is what EVE is claiming to have.
Probable.
It's probable. It's absolutely probable at this point. I mean,
why would they show those numbers off? Like, I almost think that's like a huge marketing thing, right? Like, we're the second largest MMO in the West under World of Warcraft. Like, they're not really telling anybody. I mean, I think that's huge. We're here's a headline, right? Sci-fi alternative, which is free to play, the second largest MMORPG in the world. Why would you not be public with those numbers? Like,
I don't know. That's an odd question. I mean, it's an odd thing to think about. Is maybe EA is holding the chain on those numbers and saying, no, don't go. No, we're telling our investors it'll be 1 million. Don't say, maybe that was the thing. I don't know.
Does Terra still have a subscriber? Terra still has a subscription. They all have a subscription program. So they all right. So we don't know. What were they? 1.5 million registered users, but we don't know about subscribers on Terra.
Right.
Right. Guild Wars 2, obviously, you can't really count them in since they don't have a subscription base. I don't know. I would be shouting that from the rooftops if I was EA. I'd be like, second largest sci-fi MMO in the world, in the West, and it's completely free to play. I don't know. Wish we could see those numbers. Finally, James said that he said that thanks to the success of Star Wars: The Old Republic, BioWare is leading the charge at EA on the MMO front.
Well, not that that's a lot to contend with for EA, because
I don't know, but doesn't that sort of insinuate that we're actually going to see more MMOs out of BioWare?
But yeah, he insinuated in the conversation that BioWare is the MMO studio for EA, is what he was insinuating, that future IPs that are coming out, the MMO IPs that are coming out of EA are going to go through BioWare. That's pretty much what he said.
One would hope. I mean,
I'm scared.
I would like to see a Mass Effect MMO still. Thank you. Make one of those, please.
Stop being so damn needy.
I'm not as scared. I think that here's the thing about James Ohlen's whole speech that was quite a bit different than, say, Jeff Hickman's speech that he gave. There was really very little, PR speak. There was very little spin on anything that he was saying, and it seemed like a very honest approach to everything. So I want James Ohlen behind the game, the next MMO that I play, or somebody like him, just because he's just a gamer. He just seems like another gamer.
So what Larry is saying there is that James Ohlen is James Ohlen, and he likes to talk frankly and reveal a lot of stuff that he shouldn't.
Yes, exactly. But hey, I would rather have that,
Corey
right?
Butler?
Wouldn't you rather have that than somebody that's spewing PR speak at you the whole time?
Yeah, pretty much.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Star
all
Wars
love
is
to
doing
Corey
great.
Butler. We
went through the dark
Corey
time,
Butler,
and now
yeah.
apparently Star Wars is a huge success. I'm not buying any of it. Did you guys realize it's...
What do you mean not buying any? What aren't you buying?
I'm not buying that this is a complete success in EA's eyes.
Oh, well, that might not.
wow.
Who knows what EA thinks? But as far as, isn't it a success as an MMO?
It's a success.
Are you buying that?
It
Do you
is.
think it's the second largest subscription MMO in the Western market?
I'm not sure. I'd like to see some hard numbers and actually where they come from.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm going to sit on the sidelines. I've been being really hard on Star Wars for the past few weeks. I'm going to sit on the sidelines. I'm going to hang back for a little bit. We're going to keep talking about the news and going to see where this goes, because I'm curious. I want to see where it goes.
I know for certain that they I don't, the subscription numbers I'm a little hesitant on because of Eve. because Eve, putting out there that they have 500,000. Now, I think that SWTOR is really close to that, honestly, just based on the amount of traffic that the servers have. Now, granted, a good chunk of that is probably free to play, and I don't want to discount that at all. But I do know that there are people spending money, and because the GTN is always full.
I'm sure
of
they're
stuff.
making some money,
and yeah.
And I have no inside info on what I think. I'm just making this stuff up. So this is my opinion. We see things, they release things. I look at them and I think about them and I go, like the past couple of weeks, we had the bare feet boots and we had the S&M shirt and no shirt, lack of shirt. And I go, why do you make this? This is where my brain goes. I go, okay, why do you make this? Who are you making this for? And I go, well, not very Star Wars. It's kind of very RP and cyber sexing, right? And I go, who are the last people to hang on to a game and an IP when the game goes somewhere? And it's RPers, right? That's what. Let's be honest. There was a ton of RP going on in that other game that I like. Everybody drinks about, and they were the last people still holding on. And I'm wondering if that's what they're doing. And they're already there going like, let's cater to this crowd because they're going to hang on. They're going to hang on. They're going to spend money.
To a point, yes. I believe that a lot of what we see...
Which then my brain goes, well, all the other people are not here anymore. They're not really... It's...
I don't think that they are the crowd that sticks around. I believe that they will come in and then do their thing and then go out. Then when the new thing comes out, they'll come in, do the thing, and then come out. And that's and I see that happening with some of the raiding guilds that I'm aware of now and that I run. I ran with Mox with Memories of Zendor on Test Center, and that's pretty much what they do. They go in, they do the content, and then they go to whatever the next game is.
All right, I'm gonna sit on the sidelines. I'm gonna be nice little. What?
To be fair, what's wrong with selling to people who is going to buy that thing? I mean, regardless of what you think
because
about
it's not Star Wars. Star Wars wasn't about cyber sexing and S&M costumes. That was my point the last couple of weeks, is that this game is not Star Wars anymore. They're releasing stuff that just isn't Star Wars. And there's a part of me that just breaks a little bit inside, and my heart just goes like, oh my God, what did you guys do to something from my childhood? I'm going to date myself. I remember going to see The Empire Strikes Back with my grandfather in the movie theater. Yes, I'm freaking old. And I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. It did not have S&M gear and bare feet and all that. If
you're that old, make sure to take your fish oil.
It just burns me a little bit. And I gotta say, it's like it doesn't feel like Star Wars to me, and maybe that's just a thing I have to.
At the same time, though, however, at the same time that they're doing the whole S&M costumes and whatnot, they're also giving you the Darth Malak outfit and the stuff from KOTOR 2 and those kinds of things. So there's one outfit and the boots, that doesn't quite fit, but everything else is kind of there.
I'm gonna wipe that clean. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let that go.
One rebuttal, just to savor this point. They're still employing people, thanks to stuff like this. At the end of the day, I mean, is it like, I understand if it's not like Star Wars and it's not themed to Star Wars and it's not everybody's idea what Star Wars is, that's perfectly fine. But on the other end, like Larry said, there are other options for people who do like Star Wars. Or as long as they keep it balanced and it's not all one thing.
Oh, within, I was like, are you referring to another MMO and Star Wars MMO that I don't know about? I've never heard about, because apparently to me is the only one on the market. All right, I'm gonna let it go.
Okay.
I will stop focusing on the negativity and the one costume, and I will focus on the other KOTOR stuff. I promise. Hey, did you guys hear? Did you guys see the April? It was apparently April Fool's today. Kind of slipped my mind, but
today's April Fool's Day.
Yeah, apparently. Huh. So, in completely unrelated news, you guys see the 2.1 update? Dance of the Huts.
I thought that was real.
You want to hear something really funny? Our producer really thought that Snoopy from League of Legends, nobody knows who that is probably on the show, really thought he was going to space. Dom. Sorry, bro. So get ready to dance your way to greatness. Dance off against your enemies in the new PvP area to Burrow's Shakedown. Dance the Sith Mosh, the Jedi Boogaloo, and finish them off with the Wampa Stomp.
Sounds awesome.
If that was an actual thing, that'd be awesome.
That would be. I thought you were about to like get up on your desk and do the Wampa Stomp. I thought you knew it.
Yeah, I Wampa Stomped right there. No, just chair hit desk.
So get an exclusive hut mount that will take 5% of all your cartel coins and can't be used over on weekends. Sounds like a good one. What do you think about their April Fool's attempt? What did they do last year?
Pretty funny. Not as good as the,
Last year was the droid. Last year was the droid, having wash your windows, and there's romance options with the droid. It was great.
Still, nothing is going to be better than the Sarlacc pit one.
Yeah, the Sarlacc class was the best one.
Speaking of romance options, apparently McCabe is only half gay. I don't know if that was possible, but it's only half as gay as we thought. Did you guys read this? Duffy.net confirmed on the forums that basically the same gender relationships, they talked about how they were going to work on McCabe. So if you're Republic, you're going to get the lesbian side of the storyline, and if you're on Empire, you get the gay male side of the storyline. And I guess if you wanted both, you got to re-roll. Time to re-roll.
That's actually not true.
No?
No. That's not true. Yeah, I actually, there was that thread. I actually posted in that thread. And Eric Musco, that replied to that thread, was a little ambiguous about certain things whenever he was talking, and it's not exactly true. If you're on McCabe, yes, you can. You only get one option on McCabe. There are other storylines, the Shroud storyline and the Seeker Droid storyline, where you do have flirt options if you are Empire side, if you are a female character with a female.
But those particular arcs that are on McCabe are only for those particular, like you have different arcs on McCabe. Okay.
That's true, but not in Rise of the Hutt. Yeah.
I wasn't technically lying.
Right. It wasn't technically enough. It's not, but it does paint the picture that the expansion only one faction only caters to gay male, one only caters to lesbian. That's not exactly true. If in Rise of the Hutt Cartel, which the Shroud and the Seeker Droid is part of the Rise of the Hutt Cartel, do have options for the opposite sex.
And character customization is not going to let players switch genders. Surprise, surprise. I don't think anyone is shocked by this, right? I mean, if they could, that could have easily just screwed up everything. So definitely not that. And finally, you've mentioned Eric Musco. Well, he is the community manager for Star Wars: The Old Republic. Was there an announcement on this? I mean, I know he made like an introductory post along with some other members of the community team, but did he just say like, "Hey, I'm the new CM," and that's just pretty much it? Did anything go along with it?
Other than that, no, not really. That was it. Welcome to the team.
Welcome to the team.
Or welcome to the head of the team.
Congratulations on that promotion.
Yep. I know that in a couple of emails that he was sending, he had a community manager under his title before the announcement was made. But that's really it.
This is the awkward part of the show. You guys want to do a Craig Ferguson? Just have an awkward moment. Just have an awkward moment. This episode of The Republic is brought to you by Netflix. Hey guys, if you guys have not checked out Netflix, what are you waiting for? I got a free 30-day trial with your name on it. All you got to do is use that URL. Go to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV, and you can sign up today. And this is really getting more and more interesting. You guys have been hearing us talk about House of Cards, a Netflix original. Well, they've got another original series coming called Hemlock Grove starting April 19th. So they're doing a lot of original content, getting really good reviews for Netflix content. I'm liking this. And I'm liking the fact that I possibly can finally really get rid of cable, except for HBO. No spoilers. Nobody talk about Game of Thrones. Thank you very much. But check it out. House of Cards and now Hemlock Grove coming to Netflix. And if you want to sign up and check it out on their streaming service, go to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV. Just sign up. Put the ad on your iPad, your iPhone, whatever, your Roku, Xbox, or just your PC. And you get to use the streaming service absolutely free for 30 days, and you could watch everything that's up there and stream it to your device. And if you guys like the service, which I'm sure you will love it once you try it, it's like $8 a month after that. You just sign up and you get to just stream it all day long. All dandy day long. Finally this week, if you guys saw this, but this is going out to you guys as well, our producer would like to apologize for the mistake he made a show or two ago by writing Gem Store instead of Cartel Market. He says it will not happen again. Guild Wars 2 sucks. Justin Lowe, follow him on the Twitter at Zirak, Z-I-R-A-K. Larry Everett, follow him on the Twitter at Shadow, S-H-A-D-D-O-E. I don't know, man, but that was a great pose. That was an amazing pose. I can't even follow that up.
I don't even know what that was.
Oh, good one. Follow Larry on the Twitter at Shadow, S-H-A-D-D-O-E. Go over to masterloot.com and read the Hyperspace Beacon. What are you writing about this week, bro?
Oh, writing about Rise of the Hut Cartel, my top 6 favorite things that are coming with Rise of the Hut Cartel.
Top 5, maybe 6 favorite things. We do the show live every single Monday at 6 PST. Make sure to come over to GameBreaker.tv all day, every day for all your video game news. What else we got going on right now? Beta keys. We got beta keys. You guys want World of Warplanes beta keys? Come on over. We got those. Just pick yourself up a beta key. And we'll see you tomorrow for some more Game Breaker action. Have a great night. Nah.
That is totally going to be a GIF now, Justin.
Awesome.
It so is.